It's your boy Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, guys, we're going to be going over and talking about our top 10 point guards right now in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM. Now, I do want to start off by saying each and every one of these point guards is an endgame card. As far as non-endgame cards are concerned, I mean, you got Hero Jokic, Hero MJ, you got the interdimensional Luka. Those are probably some of the best if you're not wanting to talk about endgames. I mean, even like Anthony Black is really solid. You got Amen Thompson. Those are some of your best if you're not talking about endgames. Even some invincibles, you got Penny Hardaway, cards like that. But each and every one of these are going to be end game cards. And we're going to start it off at number 10 with Dark Matter MJ. Now, Michael Jordan, J.R. Smith, any other 6'6" point guard that you can think of could be plugged in right here. I'm going to give number 10 spot to MJ because I have used MJ a little bit, and his movement is absolutely elite. 99 everything, obviously 64 Hall of Famers. Price right now is a little high, about 200,000 MT. If you have him, I would probably sell him before the market crash. Right now, height is important in my team. 6'6" is just a little short for my liking. MJ coming in there at number 10. At number 9, Jimmy Buckets. He's sharing the 8 spot with Luka Doncic though. So him and Luka, I got Luka at 8, Jimmy at 9. I mean, there's really no difference in the card. They're the same weight, same height, same wingspan, same everything. So between Luka, between Jimmy Butler, they are at my 8 and 9 spot. Here's the deal. I do like them a little bit more than Michael Jordan just because on the defensive end of the court, they can guard more guys, right? Let's say somebody's got a Ben Simmons, Giannis, a Luka, a Jimmy. They're going to be able to control a Giannis more than an MJ will just because their player model is a little bit larger. They're a little taller. And so ultimately, it is going to make him a little bit better. Do I love Luka? Do I love Jimmy? I'm going to be honest with you, no. I don't think they are personally worth their price right now in my team. Again, another card, if I had Luka or had Jimmy, that I would probably try to get rid of. The interdimensional Luka is really solid for his price. So again, if you do want Luka, I would use the other version of him. Now we get to our top 7, and here's really where I start to see some improvements, starting with the endgame T-Mac at that number 7 spot. He's 6'8", 7'2" wingspan. I just felt like when I did my gameplay with Tracy McGrady, his movement was not as good as I needed it to be. Like, yes, down the stretch in that fourth quarter, he was absolutely elite. Nobody could guard him. But for the first half, he struggled a little bit, right? I struggled to get in my rhythm with him. Obviously, I do think this is probably your best T-Mac, this or the invincible one. It is really close. This one does have the the slide, some other stuff going for him though. Do think he's probably your most complete point guard, shooting guard T-Mac in general. The problem is, I just wish he still had the scrapper. There's no reason 2K changed his release or even the T-Mac size of escape. There's no need to, or T-Mac size of, there was no need for 2K to do that. They changed his SIGs way too early, which just kind of made that T-Mac less special. Still at number 7 at the point guard position, a card I do like. At number 6, a guy I like a little bit more than T-Mac is Dark Matter Kawhi Leonard. Now it's weird because T-Mac's taller. T-Mac all year has been better. But if you're asking me who I prefer between T-Mac and Kawhi right now, I prefer Kawhi. His movement's good. His defense is absolutely elite. Kawhi's player model always feels better than it should. Now, why? I don't know. I don't have the exact reason for why Kawhi always plays better than his stats, badges, and even animation suggests. But it's no different with this endgame Kawhi. I honestly think I prefer Kawhi maybe at shooting guard compared to point guard, just because at the point guard position, I still think you're wanting more height there than guys that can move and groove. But Kawhi can give you a little bit of everything. His release, obviously the endgame release with the Sadiq upper is really solid. His movement is absolutely elite. And from top to bottom, for a 6'7" point guard, he's head and shoulders above Luka and Jimmy Butler. Moving into our top 5, here's where you see the big height difference. We're plugging in Dark Matter endgame Jokic. Now, some people would have Jokic as a top 3 point guard in my team. Some people would. I do not. Now again, why? I think a lot of it is he can't do the misdirection misdirection behind the back, which again, it's not that big of a deal because you can do the front misdirection, which is nearly just as good. I just feel like for me and Jokic, it's just like he's meh, right? He doesn't move as good as some of the other guys at 6'11", 7 feet tall. And it's just I don't prefer him to, I'll just name the guys Ben Simmons or Giannis, right? And I'm not naming where they're at on this list because it might surprise you guys. But if you're talking about the tall point guards, Jokic is at the bottom of my list. I prefer Giannis. I prefer Ben to Jokic. Their movement's just a little bit better. And I do think at least with Giannis, he has a longer wingspan. Jokic is fine. If you want to run him, he is a really solid point guard. Just not at the top of my personal list. At number 4, you could have him all the way up to number 1. Endgame LeBron James. Now, part of the reason I don't love Bron is because I'm biased against him because he's 300,000 MT. If you're spending 300,000 MT right now on LeBron James, either you have tens of millions of MT that you just don't care, or you're just crazy. I mean, those are really the two factors. I just don't love Bron. I think he's overpriced. I have been cooked by LeBron James plenty of times. And honestly, I think you could have Bron at number 1, like I just said, if you do love the card. For me, I just think there's a guy at 6'9" that I personally have more success with than Bron, that I personally do like more. But again, from top to bottom, LeBron James is absolutely elite. And I have been cooked by Bron more times than I even want to admit. Like, this card, movement-wise, is really solid. He can be that primary ball handler for each and every one of you guys. At number 3, we're plugging in Dark Matter Endgame Giannis Antetokounmpo. 300,000 MT right now. Why is the market so high right now? I don't know. I absolutely have no idea. These prices are absolutely ridiculous. A market crash is coming sooner rather than later, and these prices are still incredibly high. Why do I like Giannis? 6'11", good frame on the court, can give you a lot, good release. It's just an overall really solid card. A lot of people think Giannis is overall the best point guard in my team. For me, I think there's another guy at 6'11" in Ben Simmons who moves a little bit better. And I like the lefty endgame release a little bit more. Part of it is Giannis is overpriced. I know a lot of people don't really care too much about it. But if somebody is overpriced like Giannis is, I'm not going to be too quick to, be like, oh, he's worth the price. Because he's not. He's overpriced, not worth the price he's going for. And that's part of the reason I'm not the biggest Giannis fan, coming in at number 3. At number 2, we're plugging in Dark Matter Ben Simmons. I know a lot of people are like, what? Who's our best point guard? We'll talk about it here soon. I do prefer Ben to Giannis. And if you are somebody in which you like the tall point guards over a guy like a 6'9" Magic, then do what you got to do. For me personally, I think Ben Simmons is absolutely elite. I just think there's another point guard that gives you a little bit more offensively. Ben's release, really solid. His movement, really solid. But the best part about Ben, the two best things, number 1, his defense. Obviously, 6'11", can switch on to taller guys, plays absolutely incredible defense. But the other thing is that I've said it nearly all year long. As a rim-running point guard, you're not going to find better than Ben Simmons. You're just not. Ben Simmons as a rim-running point guard is about as good as you're going to get. Whether it's the hero Ben, whether it's the endgame Ben, running to the rim is the specialty of Ben Simmons. As my number 1 point guard overall in my team right now, we're plugging in Dark Matter endgame Magic Johnson. I've got him on the no money spent, and he's here to stay. If you don't believe in Magic, I don't know what else to tell you. This card is absolutely elite. I've got him on the no money spent. I've got him on the Xbox Road to 250K account that once was, and before I got banned. Magic's absolutely elite. My favorite point guard in my team. He can play great defense. He can be your primary ball handler. He can be a rim runner. He can be a 300. This is the jack of all trades at that point guard position. There is no flaw in Giannis. None. Like with Giannis, with Ben, well, they can't really be that good movement-wise. They're not that good of 300s. They are better defensively than Magic. I'll give them that. But 6'9" is the magic number. And Magic Johnson's 6'9". I like his frame. I like his movement. And for me, he is our overall best point guard in my team. Let me know down below in the comments who is I too high on, too low on. Ultimately, anyone I missed out on. Again, if you wanted to plug in some invincible in here, let me know. You guys like a big fan of Cade Cunningham, Devin Booker, somebody like that, even LaMelo Ball. I just don't think there's anybody as far as non-endgame cards that deserves to be on this list. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.